next week, the Lion went off with the D850, and the best thing was that the tooth went into the shutter. So the second person ever to use a D850 in the wild is actually an African lion. And the pictures weren't bad at all. It just shows you everyone's a photographer. They were not bad, some very nice. I mean, maybe the composition wasn't great, but I thought they did okay. For the picture we were doing, you should never do this at home. So I'm in a cage. I was working with a lot of wide angles to begin with, and it wasn't coming off for me. And it's a little bit of pressure because Nikon they did want to photograph us out of this, otherwise we'd all be in trouble. So I ended up working with the 200 f2, which is a cracking telephoto. I don't go with greater magnification than that, but that's a great piece of kit. The lab behind, you can tell it's quite cold because it's their winter. The lab behind has got a piece of string so that when the lion is coming towards me, he's going to try and close the door before the lion gets towards me. But I've got that ground up perspective, which to me is so important. I never want to have my camera or myself higher than an animal. I almost always want to be lower than the animal. So there was this moment actually when the lion, we were fine. You can see the rope in the corner there. Everyone else is in their vehicles, and I'm quietly shitting myself in the cage. And you can tell also by the sun. I mean, this was only about 7:05 in the morning, and I already feel like I need a stiff drink. We have an expression in our company saying it's 5 o'clock somewhere, which means you can have a whiskey just as soon as that's been photographed. But the picture that we ended up getting is testimony to several things. I think it's a great lens, that 200 f2 cracking lens. But when, apparently there's a big poster of this in the main room, which I haven't seen, but when I first saw the images coming through, the level of detail is quite extraordinary. And Nikon are happy, so that's good. And I'll show you one other picture from this assignment, which is stronger than this picture, but I'll wait towards the end. This is my kind of base camp position. That's how I tend to work in Africa. Getting absolutely filthy, propping the camera up on elephant dung, using a fairly straightforward pocket wizard. I think the best ideas are simple ideas. The best photography is simple photography. I don't like complicating things unless I at all possibly have to. Unless I don't have to, I will not complicate things. Just keep it very, very simple. We listen to elephants as well. That was the end of that one. It's no wonder they like me. Keep on coming back for more and more and more. But by having that kind of perspective, by being at the ground level, you can get imagery that otherwise, I'm sure many of you have been to Africa, you'll never find me in a Jeep. You'll always find me out of the Jeep on the ground, because if I'm higher, as I said, it immediately hints at a false encounter. This picture, which was taken in that day when you saw me with the elephant dung, again, actually, that was taken on the 200 f2, which again extols the virtue of that telephoto. There is a serenity, there's a quiet calmness to that. I often get asked, why do I work in black and white? Why are 99% of the pictures we sell around the world are in black and white? And there's 4 reasons. Firstly, we live our life in color. It's quite dark in this room, but as I look out to you all, I can see the gentleman in the red. I can see you, sir, in your blue. I can see your red shoes. And someone once said, if you photograph people in color, you see their clothes. If you photograph them in black and white, you see their souls. And I think that's very true. I think that we live in a world where there's a little bit too much noise, a little bit too much information. And I'm trying to practice reductive things, reduce things down, make them simple. Andy Warhol said his favorite color was black and his other favorite color was white. And who am I to disagree with that? And a whole range of contemporary fashion designers, from Tom Ford to Giorgio Armani, have almost worked exclusively in black and white. If you take a piano, which has, I think, 162 keys on it, in a big black and white image, you should be able to imagine that piano as your tonal range. You should be going from the rich blacks to the whites. Rich blacks are very important. Henri Matisse, who's a great artist, said that of all the colors I know, it's taken me 30 years to work out that rich black is my favorite color. You can see it in a picture like this, that this is, again, trying to be immersive, trying to get the soul of the place, use a wide-angle lens, work into the light. If I ever feel the sun hitting the back of my neck, I know I'm in the wrong position. I very, very rarely work with the sun behind me. I'm almost always working, looking not quite at the sun by that projector, but 15 to 20 degrees either side of it. Conservation is a very, very important part of what I do. I work with Prince William in the UK with Tusk Conservation, and this year we, from the sale of our pictures, will give $1 million back to Africa. This picture, to me, smells of Africa. It's got a sense of place. A lot of people ask me, you must love Africa. And there's a huge sense of misplaced romanticism about Africa. I was recently in Namibia, which is a country you know very well because it's one of yours, and you're far better colonialists in Africa than the Brits were. But Africa, for a start, is 4 continents wrapped into one. It's the Arabic North, it's the oil-rich West, it's the East Africa, and then Sub-Saharan Africa. And the one thing that reunites, I'm afraid,